Hello everyone, Zio on this side. Let's start with a brief introduction. I've done MSc Zoology, have qualified CSI and JRF with all India rank 65. Have qualified SET Maharashtra as well for the lectureship and one more exam for the PhD, that is called as PET. Currently I am doing PhD at SPPU, Pune. So let's start with our today's topic. Our last topic was reproduction in the bacteria, and now we are dealing with the types of bacteria. We are dealing with the types of bacteria. Okay, so here basically we will be having two types of the bacteria. Two types of the bacteria. They will be aerobic and anaerobic bacteria. Aerobic and the anaerobic bacteria. Hopefully you do know, but still I am giving you the bacteria which need oxygen for their metabolic reactions. They will be called as aerobic bacteria, and those who don't need oxygen, they will be called as anaerobic bacteria. For example, here you are having Azotobacter, Mycobacteria and non-pathogenic Micrococci. Non-pathogenic Micrococci. In case of the anaerobic bacteria, you are having Clostridium, non-spore forming rod-shaped bacteria. Non-spore forming rod-shaped bacteria. On the basis of their mode of nutrition, there will be three types of lifestyles. So the first one we are dealing, it's called as photoautotrophic bacteria. The photoautotrophic bacteria, they have to be aerobic, so they will be they will be anaerobic. They use sunlight, but they do not split water, rather they split hydrogen sulfide. Hopefully you do know, like this is water H2O and this is H2S, which is hydrogen sulfide. Now they split hydrogen sulfide or thiosulfate or some hydrogen. Okay, oxygen is not evolved as a byproduct in case of the photoautotrophic bacteria. They have a special pigment, I have already told you, but again I am giving you, it's bacteriochlorophyll. It's bacteriochlorophyll. This is known as anoxygenic photosynthesis or non-oxygenic photosynthesis. One of the most important example in the photoautotrophic bacteria is the green sulfur and the purple sulfur bacteria. Green sulfur and the purple sulfur bacteria. They can perform photosynthesis in far red light as well. The example is Chromatium and the Rhodospirillum. Chromatium and the Rhodospirillum. Now dealing with the second one, it's called as a chemoautotrophic bacteria. Chemoautotrophic bacteria. In this case, they oxidize inorganic compounds to obtain energy. They oxidize inorganic compound to obtain energy for the assimilation of the CO2 and the carbon dioxide. Here, like there are different types of the chemoautotrophic bacteria. They are called as the sulfur bacteria, iron bacteria, hydrogen bacteria, nitrifying bacteria. So starting with the first thing first, the sulfur bacteria. They oxidize hydrogen. Okay, sulfur bacteria, they oxidize hydrogen, and the example is Thiobacillum thioparus. The second one is called as iron bacteria, which are responsible for oxidizing ferrous compounds to the ferric. Ferrous compounds to the ferric. Example is Thiobacillus ferrioxidans. Thiobacillus ferrioxidans. Third one we are having, like it's called as hydrogen bacteria, which are responsible for oxidizing the hydrogen to water. Oxidizing the hydrogen to water. The nitrifying bacteria, they oxidize ammonia to the nitrite and then in the nitrate. Hopefully you do know these are the bacteria which are responsible for the nitrogen fixation. They are the conversion of ammonia into nitrite and the nitrate. Like one of the two most important names we will be dealing, Nitrosomonas and the Nitrobacter. Nitrosomonas and the Nitrobacter. These two were the autotrophic one, like the photoautotrophic either or the chemoautotrophic. But the third type of the bacteria we are having is the heterotrophic bacteria. The heterotrophic bacteria. They have a lot of different types of like distribution of the lifestyle. Either they can be free living or saprophytic, they can be symbiotic, they can be parasitic as well, which means all types of the life forms will be seen in this group. They require at least one organic compound as a source of carbon for the growth. one organic compound as a source of carbon for their growth. Any molecule containing carbon, hydrogen and the oxygen all will be said to as an organic compound. These bacteria may be aerobic, which means they need oxygen, or maybe they will be anaerobic or facultative aerobic or anaerobic. If the oxygen is present, well and good. If it is not present, well and good. That is called as facultative. Escherichia coli, or what we call as the E. coli, Vibrio cholera, Salmonella typhosa, Treponema pallidum, Rhizobium, Clostridium tetani, Clostridium botulinum, lactic acid bacteria, or what we call as Lactobacillus, which ferments the lactose sugar from the milk to lactic acid. So basically, like the lactose, it's a sugar which is converted into lactic acid with the help of the lab or the lactobacillus bacteria. Okay, so ultimately, like these were like the lifestyles of the bacteria. Like we have gone through 3 different lifestyles of the bacteria. They were photoautotrophic bacteria and chemoautotrophic bacteria, and the third was the heterotrophic bacteria. Hopefully this lecture is beneficial for you guys. Thank you guys. Thank you very much for your support.